What is going on, guys? Today we are going to show you how to change the head unit in this 2010 Hyundai i30. This will work on all the i30s up to about 2014. So basically anything with this head unit we can change over. We're going to show you how to add Apple CarPlay and Android Auto to a car like this. Let's jump right into the install. And for all you DIYers out there, do take note that this will require modification to the factory dash. You've got to get your Dremels out. Alright guys, welcome to this beautiful i30. So we're going to start right here, and what we're going to do is start from the top and obviously remove anything that the customer has in their car. And then we're going to take out the rubber that's right up here. There's 2 screws which will allow us to remove this cubby, 2 more screws, and then we can look at unclipping this whole panel. So as you see in there, guys, a good amount of force just pulling right back on this panel will release it. There's a few plugs on it that we're going to get out. So just having a look at that panel there, obviously you can see you're not going to fit a double din in this space. So we are going to be dremeling out a lot of this area right here. And then we're going to have a new faceplate that's going to go over it. That will mount the new head unit, and that will look really nice when it's finished. And just like that, we've got the old unit out. We can see some of the wiring here from the unit. Now, this is the fun part. What we're going to do here is use a interface that will retain your steering wheel controls and some other parts. So let's go over to the bench and I'll show you all that stuff. Okay, as for the parts, we have a double din fascia kit here, steering wheel control interface, patch lead for the steering wheel controls, and a antenna adapter so you have AM and FM. Basically, with all of this stuff here, it will allow you to install any unit you want. Our customer has gone for the ILX W650E. It's a fantastic little unit by Alpine, but you can do any unit. Like you could do something like this 507A from Alpine, which we're putting in the Jeep Wrangler, which is behind you, or me. You could do a Kenwood unit, Pioneer, doesn't really matter. And you can also get another harness, which will make it plug and play from this to Alpine. So it's complete plug and play. We like to keep things neat and have the less bulky wiring. So I'm going to chop off the ISO harness and we're going to hardwire it to the universal Alpine harness. It's pretty straightforward. It's mainly just color to color. Okay, so once we've got that hardwired, we can pretty much plug it into the car, plug it into the head unit, ready to go. We've got our hardwired loom all looking beautiful. So that's going to plug into the car. That's going to plug into the Alpine. And you see the minimization of the harness there. There's no big plugs in the middle. It's just nice and clean. We've got an extra wire coming off here for a reverse camera. So we are adding a camera to this car as well. So we've just used a template here to roughly mark out where we want to start dremeling. And we're basically going to get the big boy out, or the little boy I should say. And zit, 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 cut it all out. Line up our fascia, which is going to sit like that. Something like that. Should look pretty good when it's done. Now once you've done cutting, your panel should look something like this. And basically all of that is going to be covered with this panel right here. So that should just slide right in. We've got a couple of screws with washers at the bottom, a couple of screws at the top, and there she is. Beautiful, looking fantastic, ready to go in the car. All right, once you've got your fascia done and your wiring all ready, basically you just want to jump back into the car, plug in your plugs right here. So we've got the ISO connected to the harness that we made. We're just going to get those plugs back here out of the way so they don't interfere with our head unit. Couple more things if you're doing a camera, now is the time to go ahead and do that. And then you've got a microphone right here. So microphone is totally up to you where you want to put it. We like to put it up in the roof lining because it's neat there and it works really well. And a USB as well for wired CarPlay and Android Auto. Now this, totally up to you where you want it. We usually speak to our customers, mostly you guys, and say, hey, where do you want it? Center console, glove box. Do you want to flush mount somewhere? Something like that. Then we go ahead and do it. The fascia kit that has the beauty panel for that section that we cut out will also have some brackets. So you need to go ahead, line up the unit with the brackets, get it pretty much sitting exactly where you want it, and then nip those screws up into the bracket, and then slide the unit into place. And then the very last part is to slide that fascia on, and then you can go ahead, test everything, make sure you haven't stuffed anything up. If you followed this video, it will work perfectly. Get a look of that. Perfect, straight, looks fantastic in that housing. And now we have a beautiful i30 with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Doesn't that look so much better? All we need to do now is finish that camera, put this thing back together, go ahead and test everything. I'll get you a look at it when it's done and we'll finish up from there. And there we have it, the Alpine unit sitting nice and pretty in this i30. We're just gonna go ahead and turn the ignition on. From here, we've got normal radio. We've got our volume controls working, steering wheel controls all working. Press home, that'll bring us to the home page of the system. We've got Apple CarPlay here with our phone connected. And there we go. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto right on the factory screen. No, it's not the factory screen. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto right from this Alpine unit, sitting really nice and flush in the dash here. There's plenty here if you haven't seen how to use this. This will basically give you all your maps, Spotify music, Waze, Google Maps, Apple Maps, all works. You can get out of that. You've got a USB input, Bluetooth audio, reverse camera. So if we select reverse, I'll do that now. Automatically going to bring up the reverse camera for you. You can go ahead and move those guidelines around as well as turn them off, which is in the settings. Get out of reverse. That's going to bring us right back to Apple CarPlay when you're in there. And that is pretty much the system done. And there it is, guys. That is how you can add Apple CarPlay and Android Auto through an aftermarket head unit to an early model Hyundai i30. If you have any questions regarding the install, drop them in the comments below. If you want to reach out to us, it's www.shoptfb.com. You can go ahead and fill out the contact form. We'll get back to you. All of our details are there if you need anything. Thank you all so much for watching. Catch you in the next one.